Suppose if I want to develop any mobile application by using C# programming language, I can able to develop mobile application. If I consider operating system, there are two kind of operating system, 32-bit and 64-bit operating system. Is it possible to handle entire complex problem at one shot? No. Hello to all, a warm welcome to my new session on Introduction to C#. I'm your Revati ma'am, faculty from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So dear student, before going to start my today's session, let me to recall the topic what we have discussed in my previous session. In my previous session, I started with introduction to web technologies. So what is web technology? The term related to the web technology. When two or more systems want to communicate each other, how they are going to communicate by using some technology and some markup language. Now, along with that, we have discussed the internet and www. So what is internet? It is nothing but the network of network. It's a huge network. So it is a network of network in terms of LAN, WAN and MAN. So all the systems are connected through the LAN, WAN and MAN. And what about www? It's a repository. It's a central repository used to store and host the web. Now, important terms of web technology. So what is website? What is web page? What is web server? What is web client? What is HTTP? What is HTML? So these are the terms we have learned in my last session. But in my today's session, I'm going to deal with what is C#. Along with that, we are going to discuss applications of C#. Along with that, we are going to discuss some of the important features of C#. Along with that, a simple program and description about that program. So these are the certain topic we are going to cover in my today's session. Now let me to discuss what is C#. So it is hashtag, right? Everyone familiar with hashtag. Okay, fine. Now this C along with this hashtag, it is pronounced as C#. I repeat, it is pronounced as C#. It's an object-oriented programming language. It's modern programming language and it's general purpose programming language. And it is mainly used to develop web. That is nothing but the website or web application. So, it is an object-oriented programming language by Microsoft. Okay, now if I want to write C# program and if I want to run C# program, which software I required? That is nothing but the Microsoft Visual Studio. So which is the software name here? Microsoft Visual Studio. So it is created by Microsoft, okay, and we are using .NET framework. So I am using one single framework. What is the name of the framework? It is .NET. By using this single framework, I can able to run and write different kinds of programming language. Like in that one is C#, then VB, ASP, ADO. So these are the different kinds of programming language. But what is the platform? So I'm using single framework. So this C# is mainly originated or it belongs to the C family. So dear student, we already learned C, C++, even we learned Java. Okay, so this C hash belongs to C family, and this C sharp includes some of the features of C++ as well as Java. Along with that, it also includes some other feature. It's a general purpose, modern and object-oriented programming language. Okay, fine. Till now, we came to know that what is C hash. Okay, fine. Now, why I want to use C hash? What is the use of C hash programming language? Suppose if I want to develop any mobile application by using C hash programming language, I can able to develop mobile application. And if I want to develop any desktop application, okay, I can use C hash. If I want to develop any console application, once again, I can able to use C hash. If I want to implement web applications, once again, I'm going to use C hash. And if I want to provide web services, which is the programming language I'm using here, that is C hash. If I want to create my own website, okay, what kind of website? Dynamic website. Then automatically I'm going to use C hash. If I want to develop any gaming application, even if I want to develop database application, then most frequently I'm going to use C hash programming language. Okay, fine. Now, let me to discuss the features of C hash programming. Why C hash programming is familiar? Why C hash programming is most commonly used programming language to implement web application? Okay, in that first one, it is simple. The structure of the C hash programming is very simple. It's very easy to learn. Okay, so C hash is a simple programming language in the sense it provides structured approach. So what is structured approach? What is structure here? See here, if you have complex problem, divide that complex problem into smaller piece. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to split that problem into smaller group. And I'm going to find the solution for each smaller group. Once I got the final solution, what I'm going to do? I'm going to combine all the solution together. So, to break the problem into parts, and C hash provides rich set of library functions and data types. Because of this nature, C hash programming language is simple. And another very important feature here is modern programming language. Okay, so this programming language based upon the current trend. So first what we have to do? We have to collect the client requirement. Okay, what they want. Based on that, we have to develop the application. And this programming language is designed in such a way that it is based upon the current trend, and it is very powerful and simple for building, scalable. So what is scalable? Scale up. It's very easy to carry from one system to another. Interoperable. So what is this? So one platform capable to run different kinds of application and robust application. Okay, fine. Then another very important feature here is object oriented. So dear student, we know that C hash is example for object oriented programming language. So it's mainly used to represent real world problems. Okay, so here we are mainly going to focus class and object. So each problem must have the state as well as behavior. So C# is object-oriented programming language. Okay, OOPS makes development and maintenance is easier, whereas in procedural-oriented programming language, so it is not easy to manage code if code grows as project size grows. Okay, so dear student, we all know that the size of the code is going to increase based on the size and complexity of the project. Okay, by using procedural oriented programming language, it is very difficult to manage complex problems. To manage complex problems, we most frequently uses object-oriented programming language. The another one is type safety. So it is very important feature of C# programming. Okay, so see here. The type safety feature of a programming language simply means the language only allows you to perform the operation allowed by the data type. Okay, fine. See here, if I define int a, so what is the meaning? The data type here is integer and my variable name is a. Agree? Okay, fine. If I consider operating system, there are two kinds of operating system, 32-bit and 64-bit operating system. If I use 32-bit operating system, what is the size of the integer? That is 2 byte. So what is the size of the integer? It is 2 byte. If I use 64-bit operating system, what is the size of the integer? It is 4 byte. Now, in C#, type safe code. So what is type safe? You can able to access only the memory allocated for that variable. See here, if I consider 32-bit, what's the size of the memory? 2 byte. Okay, so I can able to access only 2 byte of memory location, which is reserved for variable a. Okay, that is that it has permission to execute. So for this a, I got the memory location 2 byte. Therefore, it improves the security of the program. I repeat once again, if I have 32-bit operating system, okay, and I'm going to have the variable name called a, how many byte of memory? I'm getting here only 2 byte of memory for this a. Now I can able to use only that memory location. So it provides the security. Okay. Now interoperability. The another very important feature of C# programming is interoperability. So interoperability is the property that enables different programming language to interact with the same programming language. So dear student, I discussed this topic. Here, what is my framework? That is .NET framework. Okay, so here .NET framework, and I'm going to install Visual Studio, that is Microsoft Visual Studio, to my laptop. So my laptop, it's a single system, okay, one system. In that, I can able to run different programming language. So I'm going to write the program using VB, that is Visual Basic. Next time I'm going to write the program by using C#. Okay, then next time I'm going to use ASP, that is Active Server Page. Okay, then I can able to use ADO. So the system is one. In that I'm using .NET framework. I have installed .NET framework. In single framework, I'm running different programming language that is known as interoperability. Okay, fine. Another very important feature of C# programming is scalable and updatable. Okay, so C# is automatic, scalable and updatable programming language. Okay, so I can able to carry from, or I can able to move from one system to another. In the sense what? I can able to share the resources between the system. Okay, and it is very easy to update the new features. Here, scalability refers to the ability to allocate and manage the resources used by the application. Okay, there are certain times when I run any program, what's going to happen? I'm going to use the resource. Okay, now if I consider C# programming, it is scalable in the sense what? I can very easily allocate the resource and I can very easily deallocate the resource. And another very important feature here is component oriented. So, if I consider other programming language like C++, it's not component oriented programming language because I won't get much component there. Okay, but if I use C# programming language and if I want to develop any website or any web application, what I'm going to do? I'm going to use the built-in component. So example for components are label, text box, radio button, text button, etc. So it's a component oriented programming language. It's a technique of developing software application by combining pre-existing. Okay, C# is component oriented programming language. It is the predominant software development methodology. So everything built in. Okay, if I want to use text box, I won't write the code for text box. What I will do? According to my requirement, I'm going to use the text box. So I'm just going to drag and drop the component in my application. And then I'm going to make the smaller modification according to my requirement. So these are the certain features of C#. Okay, fine. Now I have still more features, that is structured programming language. Okay, so C# programming is mainly designed to handle complex problems. Okay, now is it possible to handle entire complex problem at one shot? No. So what I am going to do? I am going to split that complex problem into smaller part. So C# is a structured programming language in the sense we are going to break the program into parts, that is using functions. So if it is C program, I can call by the name function. So it is object oriented programming language. Here functions are nothing but the methods. Okay, so it is easy to understand and it is very easy to modify. Now, I have another very important feature, that is library function. So, C# provides rich library function. So, C# provides a lot of inbuilt functions. Each time, no need to write the function. Some of the functions are already written and kept. Now, whenever I required, I'm just going to use those built-in functions in my program. And it is fast speed. The compilation and execution time of the C# programming is fast because we have only compiler. We don't have interpreter. Okay, so we are using only compiler. So it is going to take little amount of time. So compilation speed is very high. So these are some of the features here. Now let me to discuss the simple program here. So dear student, we all are familiar with C program. Okay, so if I tell you to write the C program to display hello world, how we are going to write? That is hash include stdio.h, then I'll start with void main, then printf hello world, over, then close. So header file and whatever the necessary thing I want to include, I'm going to include in my program. Now I just want to convert this C program to C hash. Okay, so as we know, C hash is nothing but the object-oriented programming language. When it is object-oriented programming language, what are the two things we have to remember? That is class and object. So see here, I'll start with the class keyword. Then what is the name of the class? Program. Okay, fine. Now see here, C hash programming language is case sensitive programming language. There certain keywords starts with the uppercase letter. Okay, so static. Why it is static? To invoke this main function, I does not require object. Without object, I'm going to invoke this main function. Then void. Void is what? This main function does not return any value. And main is nothing but the method. And this is my command line argument. Okay, fine. Now see here. So what is this system? Okay, system is nothing but a namespace. So what is namespace? Namespace is nothing but the collection of classes. Okay, so what is my namespace? That is system. I can able to write C hash program in two ways. First one, by using. So what I want to do, I want to write the keyword using system. Suppose if I use using system as my first statement, then no need to write the system here. Okay, if I forget to write using system, then each time what I want to do, I want to start with system. Okay, console dot. So here what is console? Console is nothing but the monitor. Okay, dot write line. So write line is nothing but the output statement. Output statement. Okay. So it is similar to your printf statement in C program. But here it is C hash. So console dot write line. So it is output statement. What I want to display? That is hello world. Well, now if I want to read the input from the keyboard. Now instead of write line, I'm going to have the line that is read line. Console dot read line. Now console represents keyboard because I'm going to read the input. Okay, so these are the simple program. Then I have to close the flower bracket. Then I have to close the pairing flower bracket. Okay, fine. See here, this is the description about the program. So what is class? Class is nothing but the keyword. Then what is program? Program is nothing but the user-defined program name. Okay, then what about static? It's a keyword. Why I'm using static? Because to invoke main function, I does not require any object. Then void. It does not return any value. Main, it's a method name. And how many main function I can have in my C hash program? That is only one. And that is the entry point. Then string, args, it's a command line argument. We can pass the value through the command prompt. Then system.console.writeLine. Here system is a namespace. So what is system? It's a namespace. Then what is namespace? It is a collection of classes. Console is the class. So this console is nothing but the class which is stored in your system. Okay, so which is present in your system namespace. And what about WriteLine? It's a method. Okay, think that I have the bag. I have the bag. And when I open the bag, I have small bag. Inside I have small bag. And when I open small bag, inside that I'm going to have small bag. So outer bag is nothing but my system. And inner bag is nothing but my console. And small bag is nothing but WriteLine. Okay, now if I call this system as namespace, then what about console? It's a class which is present in this namespace. Then what about WriteLine? It's a method of the console class. Okay, fine. So dear student, in my today's session, I started with what is C#. Along with that, applications of C# and features of C# programming language. Along with that, small and simple program. And in my next session, I'm going to deal with C# tokens. Anyway, dear student, let's meet in the next session with more information about C# programming language. Until that, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.